Assalamu alaikum. Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. Today is Wednesday, April 1st, 2020. And as you know, most of the US and other countries, but I'm in the US, so I speak primarily about the US. We are under a stay-at-home order, a work-safe order. Originally the self-isolation was recommended for 2 weeks, but now they've postponed it another 4. So we're talking about May 1st, and it may be extended even further, but for now we're looking at least another 4 weeks. And with that being said, I wanted to talk to you guys about self-isolating and why it's so hard and what we can do to cope, how we can get through it. I am not a certified counselor or therapist or psychologist, but I do have knowledge in the field. I do have history of working in the field, and I do have education in the field. So with that being said, if you would like to talk, just drop me a line. I'd love to hear from you. I'd love to help you work through it. It's not that big a deal, so don't be shy. Okay, so let's just jump right in. So what they're recommending is social distancing is where you're keeping 6 feet away from other people when you're outside. So like at the stores, or like even if you get together with someone, just keep 6 feet away from them. And this is to stop the transmission of the virus by airborne pathogens. They also recommended all schools be closed, churches be closed, places of worship be closed, don't ride public transportation. And here in Houston, public transportation is no longer operating, but in your city it might be. So as you stay home, you may have some of these stressors that you didn't have before. The number one stressor would be the drop in meaningful activities. Maybe you're used to meeting with friends or going to school, going to college, going to work, and now you can't do any of those things. So you're stuck at home and you feel like you're just standing still doing nothing. So this is a common stressor. And if you are working, then you have the fear of being exposed. Will you catch something and bring it home to your loved ones? Will you get sick? Will you die? These are all things we're all thinking about. Another common stressor is sensory stimulation. We're used to being so stimulated by everything outside. You take a ride, you take a walk, you take a bike ride, you see all these new things, you see people, and now it's really limited. Even if you go out for a walk, it's like there's no interaction. You don't really see that many people. There's not very many cars on the road. You know, it's a whole new world, really. Social engagement is a stressor. You either used to have social engagement and now it's really being reduced, so you're missing that companionship. Or even if you're an introvert like me who never had a lot of social stimulation, you still may be feeling overwhelmed by the thought of now there is no social stimulation. You know, at least before you had the option. You had the opportunity to meet someone or to go somewhere. Or even, like, I'm an introvert, but I enjoy going places where other people are, even if I'm not interacting with them. And now we don't have this option anymore. And financial strain is a common stressor during this time. We're worried about not being able to pay our bills. What if we get sick? How are we going to support ourselves? How are we going to support our health if we end up hospitalized or something like that? So a lot of people don't have insurance, so there's those issues. And lastly, one of the most relevant stressors I think would be the no access to typical coping strategies, which means normally we would go to the gym or church or shopping, you know, retail therapy, go to the coffee shop, have a coffee and a donut or whatever you like. We don't have that opportunity anymore. So the things we used to do to make us feel good when we were going through a hard time, we can't do that anymore. And that's going to be hard for a lot of people, including myself, because I'm the type who likes to just go to Starbucks, get a coffee and drink it by myself while reading a book or taking a ride. Or so this is a big deal. And because of these common stressors, we may be having a lot of feelings that we haven't had before, like fear and anxiety. anxiety about catching the virus or a loved one catching it, worried that food or supplies may run short, or that maybe we just can't afford the food and supplies, that we need to stay in the house all the time. We're having trouble sleeping and focusing on daily activities and tasks. You may become depressed and lonely or bored. I mean, you gotta get bored. There's nothing to do inside unless you have, unless you live with somebody who's like a lot of fun and you guys have a very cool, dynamic. You can play some games, watch some movies. Even those things, though, you're bound to get bored. You can only do so much. Anger, frustration, and irritability are also common feelings during this time. You may be angry at your loss of freedom, angry at your loss of finance. You maybe had a trip planned or something you hoped to do during this time. Now you can't do it. It's almost like your power has been taken away from you, because even if you wanted to go outside and go somewhere, there's nowhere to go, because virtually everything is shut down. So to get on a plane and go to another city, you're going to face challenges. It's not worth the risk. It's we've been stripped of our social freedoms, and it's hard to take in. Another thing that maybe you have the virus and now you're facing a stigma. People are not treating you the way that they used to, or people are leery of you. They're avoiding you. These are hard things to accept. You just have to understand that other people are scared. This is something unknown and we're fearful. So if we know somebody who has it, which I don't, so I can't speak for everybody. I don't know about this situation personally. But if you had it and now people are like stigmatizing you, please just try to be patient with them, because they're working through something too. And one thing I wanted to address was vulnerable populations. Like, for example, if you are somebody who already relied on health care, like maybe an in-home nurse, or equipment at home. Maybe you are in a wheelchair or feeding tube or something like this. Now the demand for resources and medical care is much greater than it used to be. So you may be worried that you're not going to have what you need, which is a very valid fear, because if you watch the news, it seems like all the gowns are gone, the masks are gone, the ventilators are gone, the equipment's gone. So you worry, will I be able to have what I need to maintain my daily life just to be alive? Or at some point, are they going to say, you're not the priority anymore, somebody needs it more than you? So this is very scary for somebody who relies on a nurse every day, or a doctor every day, or even somebody who lives like in a nursing home. So in order to cope with all of these feelings of anxiety and fear and loneliness and depression, we need to get some coping strategies or a coping plan. So here's the coping plan. Okay, the first thing I want you to do is limit your news to one reliable source. If you watch Fox and ABC and CNN and your local news, the numbers don't match up first. The number of cases, deaths, recovered, it's always a little bit different. So you have to think about that. Then you watch this channel and this guy says this, but you go to the next channel and that guy says something else. And that's confusing. So pick one station, one channel that you like, one reliable source, and watch that. If you don't like to watch the news, you can go to CDC or WHO.gov. Let me check, make sure that's right. Okay. Sorry about that. I just wanted to confirm. I'm sitting here in front of the computer. It's actually WHO.int. That's the World Health Organization. And another one that you can go to is the CDC.gov. This is the Center for Disease Control and Prevention. These are great sources. Maybe check them just once a day. You don't need to go crazy. The more we know, the less we understand. And this may be a trigger for you. So don't, put yourself into a panic when you don't need to be into a panic. The second thing I recommend would be create and follow a daily routine. Maybe you're working from home, maybe you're going to work, whatever it is. Work, exercise, learning. Try to stay connected to other people virtually. Maybe call your parents, your friends, your boyfriend, your girlfriend, your children, whoever. Call, text, FaceTime, join some Facebook groups. If you play online video games, maybe make some friends there, or just try to strike up a chat with somebody that's the chat's not related to the coronavirus. And also be careful. There's weirdos on the internet, but be careful. Also try to maintain a healthy lifestyle. Try to get enough sleep. Try to exercise. Try not to do any drugs or alcohol. It's just going to make it worse. If you're sitting alone in your house drinking or drugging, you're not going to feel better. You're just going to feel worse. Examine your worries. Excuse me. Examine your worries. Are they realistic? Don't catastrophize. Is what's happening or what you're worried about really worst case scenario? If you're worried every day that you're going to catch the virus, you're going to die, and you're going to leave all these things. But in reality, you're not sick, and you're not going outside, and you're not being exposed, and you're being safe, and you're being cautious. Focus on the positive things. Don't focus on the negative. Don't focus on the fear or the worry, which I do know how you're feeling because I do this too. I tend to think worst case scenario, but try to just focus on the positive, the things you do have control over. A good quote, and I don't know where it came from, but I think it's somehow related to Alcoholics Anonymous, is focus on what you can control and accept the things you cannot change. Which I don't think it's exactly like that in AA, but along those lines. Basically, control what you can in your own environment, but don't worry too much about people outside because you can't control them. If people are outside being irresponsible, you can't do anything about it. So there's no point stressing out about it. You can't call the police every time you see someone walking by or people are hugging, You can't do anything. So just focus on what you can and take control of your portion. I'm sorry, but I'm crooked. No, I think I made it worse, actually. Okay. Keep a gratitude journal. So with this, some people don't like to write, but if you do, even like if you have a cell phone, you can put a little journal on your phone. Write the things you're grateful for, the things that went good that day, positives. Try to focus on, the good things. Don't let it be negative because you don't want to get into a downward spiral of like negative, worry, fear, anxiety. You're just going down fast, and you don't want to do that. You want to try to be your own motivator because there's no one else. I mean, even if you have family, even if you have a mom and dad or a husband or a wife, they're not. They have their own issues and worries and fears, and everybody's reacting differently to this. So they can't be your cheerleader right now. You got to be your own cheerleader, okay? And then lastly, focus on altruistic reasons for being away from people. You're helping save people. Maybe you're healthy, maybe you're fine, and that's great. But you staying in, not taking a chance of catching it and spreading it to someone else could be saving someone else's life. So look at it like that. So because social distancing is hard, I've created a list here of things that you could do every day. It's a list of 7 things. And I got this idea from a Facebook group, and I don't remember the group name, but the lady who originally had these ideals, her name was Stacey Harris. And I don't know anything about her, and she's not my friend, and I don't have her on my list or anything, so I don't know. But I just want to give credit where credit is due. I originally saw this quarantine, it's called the Quarantine Checklist by a lady named Stacey Harris. So if you're Stacey Harris, hello. If you've seen it, just know I'm giving her credit for this. But this was a good idea. She said every day do these 7 things, write them down, whatever you gotta do, and kind of help set a goal for yourself or a milestone for yourself every day. So the first thing she said was, number 1, who am I checking on or connecting with today? So this means, are you going to call your mom? Are you going to call your dad? Are you going to call your brothers, your sisters, whatever? FaceTime. Definitely, if you have the option to Skype or FaceTime, definitely do that. That's really nice. And if you can't do that, call. I mean, a text is so impersonal these days, especially if the person you're calling is struggling and they haven't told anybody they're struggling. Maybe they have depression or anxiety or post-traumatic stress disorder or something like that. Seeing you or hearing you is going to really help them. So don't just text somebody like, are you okay? Call them. And if are you okay? And they say, yeah, I'm okay. Be like, are you really okay? Everything's good. Ask them what they're doing. How are they passing the time? You could even say, hey, let's watch a movie together. If they have Netflix and you have Netflix, turn on the same show, leave the speaker on your phone, watch a movie together, stuff like that. Number 2, what expectations of normal am I letting go of today? So, do you normally go to work? Do you normally go to school? Do you normally go to Starbucks? Do you normally go have a McMuffin for breakfast? Whatever it is that you normally do and you can't do it, let it go. And let it go with ease. Just for today, it's gone. And that's it. Number 3, how am I getting outside today? What am I going to do to get some fresh air? Am I going to go for a walk? Am I going to go sit on the porch? Am I going to go barbecue on my grill? Or barbecue on my grill. Am I going to go barbecue on my balcony? I don't have a balcony, but, whatever it may be. If you have a yard, lucky you, you can go sit out in your yard for hours. I live in a city next to a highway, so I don't have a yard. And I have a porch, but not much of a porch. But we take walks. In the evening after dinner, we take the kids for walks. How am I moving my body today? So if you're taking a walk, are you taking a run? Are you going to do a YouTube workout video? Are you going to do P90X? Are you going to do T25 workout video, Jane Fonda? Whatever you got to do, get that body moving. Exercise releases endorphins, which makes you feel better. So if you wake up kind of feeling frumpy, do your exercise first because it could really encourage you to get up and change the pace of your day. And it's hard to do. Mornings are so hard for me, but and I'm not exercising actually these days other than just normal around the house, cleaning, whatever. But so I'm not preaching to the choir or anything like that, but Number 5, how am I expressing my creativity today? Today I'm expressing my creativity by creating a YouTube video, and I'm hoping that it helps other people feel better. That's the main point. I've just been thinking about what can I offer today to make somebody else feel good, and that's the point of this video. But you could paint if you're a painter, or draw if you're an artist, or write a poem, write a letter, maybe write a letter to someone and mail it, your grandma, if you have someone you love in a nursing home, send them a letter, draw them a card, color. There's all kinds of adult coloring books and apps and these kinds of things. Number 6, what type of self-care am I practicing today? So for myself, an example of this would be a bubble bath with candles. I'm going to shave and exfoliate and all these things that make me feel good. But for you, it might be something different. Could be the workout. It could be reading some self-help book. It could be teletherapy, calling your therapist, or even watching some videos about counseling and psychology and mindset and things like that. Number 7, what am I grateful for today? This goes back to the gratitude journal. Just writing down, even though today sucks, what was good about today, and what did I enjoy, and what was the positive, and just try to do anything to keep yourself going and motivated. So that's it. It's not too much, and I did have a bunch of notes here, so that's why I kept looking down. I'm sorry about that. I'm not a great public speaker, but doing my best. Anyways, I hope you're well, and I hope you're safe, and I hope mentally you're okay. And as I said, if you need to reach out to someone, you're more than welcome to reach out to me. I'd love to have a discussion with you about things that you're worried about, or some mental health issues, or whatever it may be. Stay safe. Take care of each other. Until next time. Bye-bye.